Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with season 2, episode 19 of The Ghost and Molly McGee. And it is a holiday episode. And unfortunately, I don't know anything about it, but I'm unfortunately worried that this is not going to follow in the footsteps of the last one. And I don't have really anything to back that. I don't really have anything to like support that belief other than just the way this second half of this season has been going. I'm just concerned because I don't know what it is. But for some reason, the second half of this season has been so lame comparatively that I'm just not really having a lot of hope in this holiday episode. And like I said, I want to make clear, none of the episodes we've been watching are bad. They've just been so comparatively weak to stuff that we had in like the first half of the season or last season. And I've stated my reasons why the stuff of like forcing in the Chens and forcing out the legacy cast, stuff like that has just hurts a lot of the feeling of this season. And there's been some great episodes in the early parts of this season. And again, none of the episodes in this later half are like bad or definitely not terrible. They're just not as good. So I'm just concerned that this is going to be another one of those. And one of the ways that I think it might not be as good as the last holiday episode, the season 1 one, is I'm worried that it's not going to include any other holidays in it besides Christmas. See, with the first holiday episode in season 1, its biggest strength above everything else was the fact that half of it was dedicated to Hanukkah. The first segment of the episode last time was dedicated to a different holiday than you see a lot of times in these shows. And celebrating that with Libby and her mom and all. And it was phenomenal. It's one of the best episodes of one of the best segments, I guess you could say, of this entire show still to this day. And I'm really worried that this episode not only just won't live up to that one, but won't include the kind of reasons why the first one was so good. It's probably going to focus entirely on Christmas. Probably not going to even mention that other holidays are a thing. It's just going to be kind of schlocky. And then don't get me wrong, I enjoy schlock. I can enjoy that kind of Christmas special style episode where it's just for fun and just cute and nice and everything, has a good message. But, excuse me. But nonetheless, the things that made the first holiday episode so damn good, like, not representing them again would be a massive mistake. And then there's just the entire factor of why do we need another holiday episode? Like, this isn't, as of current, a long running show. Like, if you're a really long running show like The Simpsons or My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, having multiple holiday episodes are fine. But so far, this is 2 seasons. Having 2 holiday episodes, one each season, seems kind of unnecessary. Holiday episodes are supposed to be something special, something that doesn't happen often. Having a bunch of them in a series, or even having, in this case, one each season, it makes it feel like it's overcrowded with holiday episodes. Where it's like, oh, we had all these ideas for episodes and we just chose to make another holiday special instead. When we already had a perfectly good one that people can watch every year. You don't need to make a holiday episode just because your show is going to be airing during a holiday season. You don't need to do that. Um, it just it feels forced if you do it too often. It's not like this show can be like the treehouse of horror with holiday episodes, winter holiday episodes. Because Simpsons does that like what every year with their Halloween stuff, but that's a special case because Simpsons somehow pulls that off, and honestly, I have no fucking clue how. It shouldn't be able to. No show should be able to do that. But I'm just worried that Ghost of Mile McGee won't be able to properly do it. Because again, in order to do this properly, it has to have the same kind of impact, the same kind of oomph as that first one. And I'm not, I don't have the belief that it will. And that sucks because if this was still in the first half of the season, and you had asked me, I would have been a lot more excited. But because of how episodes have been going lately, I'm kind of like worried that they like kind of threw all of their weaker episodes into the back half of this season. And that bodes poorly, honestly. But I could be getting worried over nothing. I admittedly could be worried over nothing, and this might end up being fantastic. Hell, it might even be better than the first one. That is possible. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be the case, but it is possible. Um, and this is just one of those many times that I really want to be proven wrong. Because, again, my thoughts here are just based on nothing but conjecture with how the season has been going. It's not based on anything known about this episode because I don't know anything. So, yeah. Let's find out. Let's see where this goes. At this point, it's pretty much all we can do. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we're back, and the spoilers will begin in 3, 2, 1, now. The true curse here is that the second half of this season has still not been that great. This episode was so weak. Again, not bad. I want to emphasize that. It wasn't bad. But comparatively to not just the first half of the season, but also to the previous holiday episode, like, if you're just comparing the two holiday episodes, this was not good. But in the wider scope of Ghost of Mile McGee and in the wider scope of, like, cartoons, it's like this was still good. It just depends on how you look at it, but yeah, this was really weak. The first segment didn't even have a message to it. It's just like, you know what, fuck it. We're not even going to actually spread the message about how trying to focus on getting the perfect gift is a terrible idea that's just going to cause misery and unneeded stress during this time of year that's already extremely stressful for a lot of people. Most people, I would probably even say. And in the end, the true best gift would just be, being there for them, or, just something, even if it's simple or dumb, just something that comes from the heart. They even kind of make that joke in the episode, but don't actually do anything with it. No, instead, they make it seem like the hunt for the perfect gift is a healthy aspect. Like, this makes me think of this one My Little Pony episode. I know, I'm bringing in a My Little Pony episode. I do that all the time, but hear me out here. If you've seen My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, you might remember the episode The Gift of the Maud Pie, which is a play on The Gift of the Magi. The episode focuses on this exact problem, getting the perfect gift. Pinkie Pie and her sister Maud always get each other gifts on a certain day each year. Sister Surprise Swap Day or something like that. Pinkie wants to get Maud the perfect gift because Maud always gets her the perfect gifts. So she goes out of her way to make herself miserable by selling her party cannon. Something that means an extremely big deal to her just to be able to get the gift that she wants to get for Maud. She has to trade her party cannon to get it because the only way she can get it is from trading with this other pony who has it. But Maud sees that this makes Pinkie miserable and trades the gifts back, getting Pinkie's party cannon back for her, to help her out, not just as a gift, but to also tell her the message that it doesn't matter what she gets her, as long as it comes from the heart, it's perfect anyways. It is honestly a phenomenal episode of the series. It's one of Pinkie's best episodes, I would say, and definitely one of her best with Maud specifically. That episode handles this entire getting the perfect gift kind of story beat so exceptionally well that when looking back on it compared to this, it's night and day. Again, the fact that they don't even acknowledge what the message of that entire plot line is supposed to be in literally everything it's ever in. The fact that they make it just like that, getting the perfect gift, the hunt for that is a valid and healthy thing to do, is kind of gross, if I'm being honest. It completely misunderstands the meaning of the season and basically makes it about commercialization and greed. It saps away what the season is supposed to be about, and I feel like that kind of makes no sense for a Molly McGee episode, because that kind of thing would go against Molly's own beliefs and thoughts on that kind of thing. So it's just, it feels so out of place and so just poorly handled. And then our second segment here is about New Year's, and it's a Groundhog's Day segment. Like, they even directly reference that. And that's all you really need to know about it, because it doesn't do anything different. It doesn't do anything special. Molly just wants to have the perfect New Year's Day because for some reason she has this toxic belief that that will set the mood for the rest of the year. And so she has Scratch curse her to relive the same day over and over until it can be perfect. And it's just as boring as you would expect. Like they don't do anything special with it. They don't do anything interesting. It's just your very stereotypical Groundhog's Day plot. It's so fucking generic. And on top of that, everything is made perfect by Molly taking credit for a bold-faced lie, which very much seems out of character for her. It's like, oh, she's going to like just take this credit for a lie just because it brings the community together and everything, and brings all of her wishes of the day together, family, friends, community. But she's going to take the credit for this bold-faced lie that she was acting as an activist, performing a sit-in in this pothole, rather than, just moping. Molly wouldn't do that. Molly just wouldn't do that. Molly would not, like, live a lie and everything just for the sake of this, just to make herself happy. That is very out of character for her. And it's actually really disappointing. And what's more disappointing is the extreme lack of Andrea, Libby, and I'm even gonna fucking say it, the Chens in this episode. Andrea and Libby were both shown very briefly, but that's it. Libby had like literally one scene. Andrea was in the background in literally one scene. That's it. Okay, Libby had two scenes, sorry. If you count the scene where she's in her mother's shop screaming at everything burning. That's not really much of a scene, it's a single shot. The only actual scene Libby had was at the end of the second segment when she comes in to join Molly. Why were her and Andrea not a bigger focus? Like, I understand they were a big focus in the last holiday episode, but you could still have them be more notable and have more of a, role. Especially since one part of Molly's big plan for the New Year's thing was friends, and we barely see any of that. And then on top of it, where were the Chens? They were nowhere to be seen at all. Like, the Chens have been this big deal. They've been taking away screen time from legacy characters. And again, I don't dislike the Chens. I just think that they're handled poorly. And this is a great example. You know how many different stories they could have done with the Chens for a holiday episode? They could have had something related to like a holiday-based spirit. They could have done a fucking Christmas Carol episode with the Chens trying to stop the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. That would have been fucking hilarious. Like, that would have been an amazingly creative way to do a Christmas Carol episode, first of all, but also to bring the Chens into it. On top of that, you could have also done something where, it's Molly and Ollie's first Christmas as a couple. You could have easily done something with that. Hell, the entire plot with trying to get the perfect gift would have actually worked better with it being between Molly and Ollie. With them trying to get the perfect gift for each other because it's their first Christmas together and they want it to be memorable. That would have actually been a good plot. But you still would have had to have the message told at the end, but it doesn't seem like they wanted to do that. That would have actually been a good plot, though. It's like there's so many ideas, so many concepts for something they could have done with this. Instead, the Chens are just completely left out, not even shown. It's like, the fuck? Do they just not exist? It's like they've been built up, and it's just they're so poorly utilized. It's really disappointing. And I'm just really wondering at this point, like, what's going on here? I have this weird feeling that maybe some of these reports that this show is ending after season 2 is right, and I'm kind of worried maybe that it was another show that was canceled. Because although, like, there's not really been any real evidence to that, it kind of feels like this ending is just. It feels like it's the ending to the season, or just the second half of the season, really doesn't know what it's doing. It feels like these episodes are just kind of like picked and chosen and just placed here, as if the creators just had to choose some episodes to throw in instead of actually, putting episodes that make sense, or, fucking continuing the main plot lines with Scratch's backstory and everything. That would be nice to see more of, but no, we're not going to focus on that at all. This episode could have been so much better, and there's so many ways it could have been better. But they just kind of ignore them for the most generic and poorly handled holiday plots possible. Also, like I said in the pre-thoughts, I was right. There wasn't anything about any other holiday mentioned. I mean, New Year's doesn't really count. It's not really a holiday, per se. Not in the same way. Um, I'm talking like a winter holiday that is, celebrated by a different culture, a different group of people than just, the standard. Like, they could have easily brought in something with Kwanzaa or Yule or anything else. Hell, bring back Hanukkah again. But it's just weak. And again, especially compared to the last holiday episode, which was, again, one of the best episodes of the series, with one of the best segments in it of the entire series. It's like when you make that comparison, it's night and day, and it's really disappointing. I'm really disappointed by this, but apparently this is the last episode for the year. There is going to be a little break before we get to the last set of episodes of this season, whether it is the last set of the series or not, which is still very unclear. I really wish the creators would actually say something one way or the other. But hell, they might even not know if they're getting a season 3. Who knows with Disney at this fucking point. Um, but yeah, the point is, um, we are taking a break. So there are basically two options, because I don't know exactly when in January this is coming back, but it's probably not going to be that long, all things considered. So there's kind of two options. Either we bring it back right away, and that means that we would basically not really replace this with anything for the time being, or we do replace it, and then whatever slot we can fit it into when it does come back, we will. And I think that's the better option here. Um, so this is a first impression series, and I'm deciding that because of that, the first impressions show that we are going to replace it with is one that we've been kind of I've been kind of waiting. I don't know if you guys have all been waiting as well, but I've been kind of waiting to bring back for a while. I just haven't had the chance because of other stuff kind of taking priority. But I'm finally gonna bring it back since we did the first impressions. Let me check actually on this. It's been quite a long time. Um, let me actually. I actually want to know when we did the first impressions to this. August of last year. It has been over a year. We are finally going to get to Jormungand. We did the first episode on August 26th of 2022. Jesus. Um, and we are finally going to get to more of it. I've been wanting to get to this for a long time. It's one of a couple that I've been meaning to get back to and just haven't had the chance. Um, I really enjoyed the first episode from what I remember. I might have to watch it again or just check out a synopsis to remind myself. But I get the gist of things, and I definitely want to continue it because of the characters. Like you have the leader of the organization or whatever, who is like this very beautiful, just fantastic female character who's badass and awesome and scary, but also an absolute goblin of a person. And it's just like that's amazing. Like there's this scene where like she's sneaking out for like a snack or something in the middle of the night, and it's just amazing. And then you have I can't remember her name, but the giant ass buff girl who makes me feel things. Um, and the other characters were fun too, from what I remember, but those are the two I very much remember the most. There was arms dealing. It was pretty gay from what I remember, and even the synopsis, the flavor text in the video is saying that. Um, so yeah, I'm very much excited to finally get back to that. I think it's only the one season, and it's only like a single core season, so it's not too long. But I also want to kind of make, I guess you could say, an announcement regarding that. When we do bring Molly McGee back in January or whatever, I'm just going to tell you now, it's not a priority show anymore. For those of you who might be new to the channel or newer, and you might not have heard that term before, a priority show on this channel means that when the series either starts or comes back or whatever, it's a priority for me to get to. Meaning I will drop, or not drop, but put another show on hold just to open up that slot for this one. There's a lot of shows that I've reacted to that have been priority shows for me, like The Owl House, for example. Um, and this is one of them. Molly McGee has always been one of them. But after the second half of this season, how this has been going, I kind of don't feel it's a priority for me anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still plan to get back to it as soon as I can after it starts back up. But it's not going to be a priority for me anymore. It's not something I'm going to feel the need to, need to get back to right away. Which really sucks because really have loved this series overall. And to see it kind of like fall this much is just really disappointing to me. So I will get back to it as soon as I can afterwards, but I'm not going to like forcefully open up a slot for it. And like another example of a priority show for me is My Little Pony Make Your Mark. And the only reason I didn't forcefully open up a slot for that, when the new chapter of that came out recently, is simply because I already know where I'm going to place it once I finish another show. And on top of that, the new chapter of Make Your Mark has like 3 episodes. So it's like it's not like a huge rush to get through because it's so short anyway. Um, that's the biggest reason because I once I start it, it's going to be over in a snap, and it's like I'm kind of like putting it off because of that, because I don't want it to be over in a snap. Um, but yeah, so again, we will get back to it as soon as possible after it starts airing again, but it's just not going to be a massive priority for me. So, yeah, we are going to be going with Jormungand. I could say that almost certainly won't be starting this week, but we will probably start it next week. And I'm excited to check it out. So, In the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of the Ghostly Molly McGee? And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.